Yo, what's up? Welcome to the video. In this video, I'm going to share my top 10 tips on applying for grad schemes after university. If you watch one video before applying, this is the one. Why 10? Because 10 makes for a great video title. Like and subscribe. Before we get into the tips, let's go for a quick overview of the grad recruitment process. Companies will vary, but it's going to look something like this. Stage 1, your initial application. This is 3 to 4 questions on why you're applying, plus an upload of your CV. Stage 2, aptitude tests. These typically take the form of numerical and verbal reasoning tests. Step 3 is an interview. So it'll be competency based and it'll be a telephone, a video, or it'll be face-to-face. Step 4, the big day, the assessment center. This is a combination of solo, group exercises, maybe another interview, and a presentation. Then what we're all wanting, the job offer. Woo! Tip number 1 is apply as early as possible. The sooner you can start thinking about your career and taking proactive steps, the better. So try and understand if you're applying for schemes when they open, because they're going to close as soon as they filled their vacancies. So as soon as you can get on it, the better. If you're in first or second year, you can't quite apply for grad schemes quite yet, then apply for summer internships. These are absolutely great. 1, they're an amazing CV booster, and 2, most importantly, you might actually get a graduate scheme offer after an internship. A lot of people I know who did grad schemes started on an internship. Tip number 2 is don't let your degree hold you back. So for those who've done a very specific degree that they don't necessarily want to pursue a career within that subject, don't feel hostage to your degree. I am a biology graduate, and I did a commercial graduate scheme for one of the biggest energy companies in the world, and I do pretty well for myself in sales and marketing. I say that most importantly to flex, but also to show you if you've got a history, English, music degree, and you want to pursue a career in a different subject, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to list some examples now that take any discipline, grad schemes that take any discipline. Tip number 3 is apply for multiple graduate schemes and hedge your bets. Graduate recruitment is a game that you're gonna have to play to get yourself a grad scheme offer. The more you play, the more you practice, the better your chances are at getting a graduate scheme. So what I'd recommend is having a top choice 100% and put most of your effort into that, but have a few other schemes you're applying for just to hedge your bets, even if it's just a practice along the way on the run up to your top choice. And I'll guarantee you there's a ton of graduate schemes. There's going to be more than one you're interested in. So I would recommend have a top choice and apply for a minimum of 5, ideally as many as you can manage. Tip number 4 is tailor your CV and application questions to you. So the mistake I see a lot in CVs, particularly in the profile, is it includes a lot of sentences that you've written about you that someone else could just copy and paste and use in their CV, in their application. You want to make sure everything you write is really, really tailored to you. So instead of saying something like, you're a results-orientated self-starter who's a great communicator who works well in a team, which anyone could copy and paste and it'd be applicable to them. Say something like, when you did a university project, you got a really great grade. Talk about that experience, how you worked in a team, what initiatives you did to get that high grade. Or if you have a part-time job, how you increase sales, customer satisfaction. Give a real life example that is a specific experience, one of your experiences. That's what companies are looking to see. And it says it so much more powerfully that you have these competencies than just saying business buzzwords. Tip number 5 is mention the values and behaviors in your application. Every company you're applying for will have values and behaviors, V&Bs. This is their culture, their DNA, and they want to hire people who match their culture. It's a lot more difficult to change someone's purpose, what gets someone going. It's a lot easier to teach technical skills. So they're gonna hire someone that fits the culture of the company more so than technical ability, particularly for grad jobs. So make sure in your application you demonstrate that you have the same ethos, the same culture, the same values, that you're gonna fit right in with that company. Tip number 6 is practice, and when you're done practicing, practice some more. As part of the application, you're gonna have to take some tests, and these typically come in the form of numerical and verbal reasoning tests. On the surface, these are really, really simple, but I encourage you to please practice before you take one for your top choice, for a company that you're really going for. There is a ton of paid and free resources online, so utilize them. Your careers office should have some you can use. If they don't, tell them to buy some. Even if you use other companies that you're not so bothered about working for, use their application as a practice. Go on, use their tests and practice that way before taking a company you actually care about. The worst thing you can do is fail at the automated side of the recruitment process just because you didn't put the time to practice. So please, please, please take some practice tests. Tip number 7 is they're looking for someone who's the right fit, not someone with the most experience. The next stage of the application is the interview. If you've made it this far, congratulations. Before going into this, realize this is a graduate scheme. This is a graduate job. They're not looking for someone with reams and reams of experience. They're just looking for someone who'll be a right fit for the company, who has a few skills they're looking for. Most of the times, the interview is going to be a competency-based interview, which is looking for examples when you've demonstrated certain skills, behaviors, and competencies. You're gonna hear questions like, tell me a time you've managed conflict. Tell me a time you succeeded when the odds were against you. Answer all of these using the STAR method, which is situation, task, action, result. My main bit of advice is prepare a ton of killer examples from volunteering, internships, part-time work, and uni work. And just have them in your mind so when they ask the right question, you can draw upon that example. There's only so many questions they can ask. They can word it in 100 different ways, but if you go to enough interviews, you'll hear the same questions asked just in a slightly different way over and over again. Tip number 8 is about video interviews, and you need to get these 5 elements right: audio, visual, background, what you're wearing, and lighting. Video interviews are becoming increasingly common, so I'd encourage that you get good at these. Prepare as you would for any interview, but just make sure that you've got the logistics right. Firstly, you want good visuals, so I'd recommend getting a separate webcam, put a box under your laptop, and position the webcam just above eye level so it's looking down. This is the most flattering angle. Secondly, get some lights behind the camera that illuminates you, not too bright, just enough to light you up. 3 is then the microphone. Get a separate mic. Make sure the audio is super crisp. Number 4 is background. Make sure it's not too distracting. I would say this maybe is slightly too distracting. A plain wall is probably best. And number 5 is make sure you're dressed for the occasion. It's an interview, so dress up smart. Now for the big day, the assessment center. So if you've made it this far, you have everything they're looking for in an applicant. It's just about letting that shine through on the day. The tips I'm about to share are just some extra moves that's gonna help you absolutely nail an assessment center. Tip number 9 is be the one who starts the task. For your group exercise, you're gonna be led into a room. The assessors will already be there. The one who's opposite directly you is the one assessing you. They'll be silent. They're looking for you guys to start. So don't let an awkward silence creep in. Use your initiative and start the task. The best way to start is something like this. This is dangerously good advice, so handle it with care. Before we get into the task, it'd be great to write our objectives down on the board to understand if we've hit our brief and we've actually achieved what we set out to do. Grab the pen, go to the board and write a couple of objectives down. Then get some feedback from the rest of the group. Once you've got their feedback, go sit back down and get into the task. This is going to demonstrate leadership, initiative, and also if you want to build up the team, if someone has a good suggestion and you've been up there for a couple of minutes, a great way to sit back down is saying to someone, that was a great suggestion, would you like to write it down? Tip number 10 is there is more than one space on a graduate scheme. In one of my assessment centers, 3 out of 9 candidates got offered a place on the graduate scheme. In my final group exercise, there was 3 of us. 2 of us got offered a place on the scheme. The one who didn't was using any excuse to argue with what we were saying. The other one, the girl, I still work with to this very day. So make sure you see everyone as an opportunity to collaborate, to show you're a team player and work together with. There's more than one space, so the likelihood is if you're good and someone else is good, they'll offer it to both of you. If you're interested in me sharing some more assessment center tips, let me know in the comments and I can make a follow-up video all about how to nail an assessment center. Bonus tip. If you've made it this far into the video, you deserve my bonus tips. These are gonna be my best, most juicy bits of advice, so stick around. First bonus tip is get feedback. If you fail for whatever reason it is, make sure you really understand why. So then on your next application, you can work to improve it and not make the same mistake twice. Watch my last video on how to get a graduate job to really hear my story and why it's so important to get feedback at every single stage. Next bonus tip is about what to wear. And you should wear something that's just slightly smarter than what you would wear for going to work. If you're debating whether something's too smart, like a tie, it's probably not and you should wear it. You're more likely going to give a bad impression by being underdressed than you are by being overdressed. The interviewer is thinking this is the best we're going to see someone, so make sure you set the bar high. If you made it this far, you deserve my most powerful, best bit of advice. You're gonna think initially this is a little goofy, but I promise you, if you need a bit of a boost, a bit of a confidence boost, this is gonna really, really work. Find a quiet place like a bathroom, adopt a strong stance, put your arms out wide, palms facing outwards, chin up high, and crack a smile. Promise you, it's gonna instantly elevate your energy levels. And if you do this with someone else as well, you're both gonna start smiling, laughing, and feeling so much better. It's gonna feel super goofy, but give it a try right now. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, comment below what grad recruitment videos you wanna see next, and of course, subscribe to the channel. Boom. Let's go.